Kelly, thank you for joining us on the Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We're here in the studio of Troy Trussell with Trussell Videography. So any kind of branding videos that you guys might need or any realtors or businesses, Troy is your guy to call. So I'm your host, Sam Luciarini, and today we have preferred partner Kelly Remacle of Kelly Remacle Photography, who happens to also be one of our photographers, and one of our amazing realtors here, Miss Ivy Tydings of Keller Wiliams Signature Partners. And you're going to have to give the rest of the alphabet soup because I don't remember, and we need to give credit where credit's due. So we will get to that. But today our topic is going to be about doing something since the age of 17, making a huge impact in our local real estate community in a short amount of time, and just real estate and just a little bit of everything in between. So with that, Kelly, start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you invited Miss Ivy.
I'm from Kansas City originally, which is something that we bonded on through our conversations while I was photographing her. I grew up there. Same house, same room, same family for 18 years. And then when I was 18, I was like, okay, bye. Moved to Wichita for college. Got my graphic design degree. Went to photography school. But photography started in the darkroom when I was in high school. Sarah Silks was my teacher. She was awesome. I originally grew up drawing and painting, so I kind of thought that photography was a load of crap for art, and then I fell in love with it because of the process and being able to look at things differently. And then becoming a graphic designer, it made a lot more sense because you have to have a layout and an image that works with layouts for type and mastheads or whatever, which is kind of what led me into working with publications. So it's kind of where I am.
Yeah, you're made for it. You're very creative. So then you met Ivy when you were photographing her for her feature in Real Producers, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we kind of collaborated on how do we tell her story about what she's doing in the community, and chose a mural here in town that kind of depicted women, and she's working with women in the community trying to make a collaboration with women that professional women that are in your industry.
Yep.
I'll let you talk about that, but we just kind of like hit it off.
Yeah.
And we keep running into each other in random places.
I love that. Isn't the universe good?
Yeah.
So
She's
good.
stalking me.
Yeah.
That's okay. it's a loving kind of stalking, so that's totally allowed. Okay. I like that. Miss Ivy, just briefly kind of tell us about your personal story, and why the heck you chose real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
From the time I could walk, my mother was very deep into estate sales. So I feel like I've been in and out of houses my whole entire life.
I bet.
And multiple journeys, went to School of Architecture at KU, and ended up doing marketing and interior design / sales with Scandinavian furniture.
Oh, beautiful.
It was just I don't know, it was just kind of a natural segue for me to, build relationships as I was doing within the furniture side. Sometimes those processes can take 1 to 3 years to do the interior design part. So it was just a natural progression.
Yeah. So then you originally were licensed in Kansas City, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you eventually moved to Wichita and said, I'm gonna continue this journey now. And you're licensed in both currently, is that right?
Yes, Missouri and Kansas.
Okay.
So yeah.
I love that. All right. So Kelly, let's kind of go back to you. Let's talk about your industry and the success that you've seen in this photography industry. So what does a typical day look like for you?
Which day?
I know, right? Yes. I mean, besides like finding beautiful trees to take pictures in front of.
Oh yeah.
Which is,
my husband can attest to, like, I'm constantly looking around and losing myself in places. I took him to a photo conference one time and he almost exploded. Like, there were thousands of photographers doing exactly what I do all the time. And somehow we were moving in like a school of fish. We weren't bumping into each other, but we were just taking in everything.
Yeah. Josh is very pragmatic, right? So as a background, he works for Coke, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are exact opposites.
Yeah.
You're the epitome of.
We're both creative, but in very, very different senses.
Yes.
But my typical day is mostly dealing with the kids and getting them where they need to go, and then kind of like shoving my industry in between all the little nooks and crannies of time that I have. So I drive a lot. I'm in my car a lot. So I'm constantly looking for new places to photograph people because you get tired of, oh, you want to go shoot at Botanica? Oh, it's easy to shoot here. It's easy to shoot here.
Or let's just stand in front of this pretty kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, let's try something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of has led me to, yesterday I shot with Doc, the B-29 bomber. And then in the afternoon, I had a session at Cowtown, which I had never been there. I've been here since 2005. I'd never been to Cowtown. So I was like, well, this is cool. And then when your session, I was like, well, there's this big, beautiful red tree we could go shoot in front of. It's going to be awkward because it's in somebody's driveway, but
that's
made it work.
You smile and you ask forgiveness and it should be fine.
Can I brag on you, Kelly, for a second?
Let's hear it.
Sure.
Were your ears burning earlier?
I don't know.
Okay. So I was bragging on her. I was talking on the phone to a realtor that needs her headshots done. Yes. And she said that you did such a wonderful job on mine that she wanted your contact information. And I went like 10 steps further because I said, she's going to take her time. She's going to get the right shot. Yeah. She's going to move around like a mouse to get the right angle. I mean, she's here, she's there. She's
high, low, everywhere.
Yeah. She's standing over you, whatever, moving lighting around and things. So, and one of the other things that I said is that you want people to look natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And really bring out their personality with who they are through, a photo, which I think is truly special. So I sold you.
Love it. See, I love that. That's what this is all about. I mean, me being able to connect people together, but then watching the connections that come, just the other fruit that blossoms from this whole platform is why we're here. And just like when you walked in, I said, Kelly, you've got to go see that women's restroom. It is head to toe, every angle, all red tile. Like it's going to be an amazing. I know it's going to be in the magazine at one point because it's just so beautiful.
Probably in the January.
Right.
We're all going to the bathroom after this.
I'm feeling a selfie after this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You wore the right glasses today.
Perfect.
Okay, Kelly, what is the craziest photo shoot or client story you could share without sharing names? Because we love drama, right?
Okay,
as long as it's not ours.
I don't want to share the name.
Yes,
but
no names.
I have a very high profile shoot that I did several years ago. Well, many years ago now. I showed up at a location that's very vanilla, thinking that I was just going to shoot somebody with wildlife. And I showed up and they were like, okay, well, your subject is this person and this person, but we also have another very high profile person coming. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm prepared for anything, so bring it on. So the person showed up and I was like, oh yes, very, very high profile. They looked very nice, everything put together. The shoot went wonderfully. They actually got that person to hold a snake in the picture, which I was like very surprised. That person was also covered literally from neck to wrist in fake tattoos because they had just gone to a costume
Halloween,
party.
yes.
Well, it wasn't Halloween.
Oh,
it was like in the middle of the summer.
Okay. She
And
went
then,
all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went as bikers. So whatever. And she was like, you're going to be able to edit these out, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
So I had about, I would say, a baseball's size skin to work with to like
To plant
cover
around,
and patch. And then I had to color match the skin and like basically redraw her arms, but make it look like it was her
Natural,
skin.
yes.
Yeah. And I pulled it off and I was so proud of myself.
That is amazing.
But it was an interesting experience. I've never forgotten it. She was great. She was like photographing the Queen of England. It was like, how are you this cool and you're this important?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was a lot of work in post-production, but it was worth it.
Worth
and
it.
I think it ended up really well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do recall that story now. But and I'm glad you shared that one because that takes a lot of skill. No one can, not just anyone can do that.
Yeah.
And there's a part of the photography that you have to be able to work well with your clients and your subjects, but you have to be able to do all the technical stuff on the background. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have a really good skill set for both of those.
That's one thing that I I value in myself because I can do retouching, and I love doing retouching, and I don't mind doing it. And people are like, "You're gonna make me look perfect, right?" I'm like, "Sure." Yeah,
Just a rested version of yourself.
Yeah, well hydrated, well rested.
Yes.
That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah. You're gonna look your most restful. What is your 5-year goal here in Wichita with your photography business, Kelly?
I just want to grow and get a studio space of my own that's away from my house, and have the freedom to go to work and come home.
Yes.
And have the separation, but still have, my own space that I get to call my own, and be able to invite people into that space and create portraits that capture them genuinely, but it's comfortable because they're not like, oh, I'm coming to her house. This is a little
right. Yeah, that always
I was
awkward.
worried about that a little bit. So
okay, I like that.
Studio.
I have no doubt that will come to fruition.
Yes, she made me babysit the kids afterwards.
Oh yeah, right. The kids weren't even there. The dogs, on the other hand,
I know. Just joking.
What is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
I thought of this, and now I can't remember what I was going to say.
That's okay. We can totally come back to it because I want to know. It's going to be good. I don't know what it is yet, but I know. Oh, here's something that I know about you. What I love every month when I'm opening up my emails from the photographers, it's like Christmas. What I think is hilarious about Kelly, number one, is she gives this amazing synopsis. Like, you could definitely be a copywriter.
I used to be.
Yeah. I mean, just like the language, the humor, it's so entertaining. And I know I have to be like in the right spot. I can't just read it on my phone at a stoplight. Like, I have to be home. I have to like drinking a nice glass of wine. Like, I have to just be able to take it all in because it's freaking awesome. And it teaches me things. You get to know the clients in a way that I never have been able to bond with a realtor in that way. Right. But there are times that you'll send like the funny things, like you'll put like wings on somebody, or you'll capture like that funny face. I mean, you just did it to us for our family portraits over the weekend, and it's like, that one's funny. I'm glad you got that, and I'm glad that's not going to be one that we purchase. So I always appreciate that because there's always laughter, right? Like, not every picture is going to be perfect, and you're going to get the outtakes, and that's what I think we love is the bloopers. But yes, be thinking about that because I want to know what your absurdness is. All right, Miss Ivy, switching gears here. We've already kind of touched that you were, I mean, the seed was planted pretty early about being passionate about real estate, being in and out of homes. But when did you realize that you wanted to take that and make it your profession?
That's a good story too.
Okay,
so I
let's
was
hear it.
wanting to get out of the job that I was in. So I saw, I think it was on Indeed or something like that. It was a property management company. So I went into several interviews, and I was trying to bribe them with my sister's business to hire me because she has a medical spa up in Kansas City. So I'm like, hey, I'll give you a free treatment. Come on.
Oh, that's funny. So you're writing the checks and your sister has to cash them.
Right.
Like a good sister would do. I like that.
So that was my springboard into it, and it was an awesome experience. That owner was fairly young, but knew how to romance and wine and dine some big time multi-million-dollar investors that were swinging on into Kansas City a few years after the crash. Mm-hmm. And it was nuts.
I bet.
We were probably processing about 20 to 40 homes, single families a month.
Wow.
So I was thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, you were. So now that you are like full-time, like the retail real estate, would you ever go back to full-time property management?
No.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I think that's how everyone feels after you've done that. It is not an easy thing.
I'm happy to pass the reins.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah, it is. Property management is a different animal, and God bless those that do it because it takes a special human.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Okay, good to know. So outside of work, what are you spending a majority of your time doing?
Answering my Facebook Messenger from my adult children.
Why? Because they send you funny things?
They want to talk about how difficult adulting is.
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah.
Adulting is. So how old are your kids? Let's hear about them.
They are 21 to almost 32.
Okay.
So,
yeah. 30s is still like learning how to adult in this day and age, actually. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Responsibility is,
It's hard.
Yeah.
Adulting's hard. That's
so
funny.
I received a Facebook Messenger chat from my youngest a few days ago, and I didn't have to say a word. I just listened to her venting on why her roommates aren't keeping the house clean.
Yes.
It was about a 30-minute rant, and then I said, okay, bye.
Well, at least they're not complaining about her not keeping the house.
Right.
That's
Right.
like a win.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
parenting
You know
win.
what? You've got to go through that.
Yeah.
You have to go through horrible roommates because there's going to be a time you will appreciate your solitude. and
No,
living
this
alone.
was a kid that would leave like a plate of cheese in her room for a month. And then now she's, responsible and complaining about how, somebody doesn't put the dishes in the dishwasher correctly.
Yeah.
So I just internally laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, I'm a mom and I picked up after you. So,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you know. Now you know what not to do, how not to act. That's
Called
hilarious.
karma.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you didn't have to serve it. So it's even better.
Right. Yeah.
That's the best thing. Okay. What is one word that, real quick, tell us the full name of the real estate team that you're on, because this is a big deal.
It's a mouthful.
I know it is. Yes. And
But
I didn't want to mess it up.
Yeah, no, I love it. So let me get all serious.
Okay.
It's Ivy Tydings with Edie Waters Network, powered by Lucido Global, Keller Williams Signature Partners.
Ooh,
I
and I
know.
thought Keller Williams Signature Partners was a lot.
Yeah,
So
it's a
tell
lot.
the audience a little bit about that. I'm very familiar with it, but I want everyone else to really know what that means, because you're the first person in Wichita to bring the Edie Waters team or the global
All
global
of
team
it, just
to
the whole kit
all
and
of it.
caboodle.
Yes.
Yeah. So last year in 2021, Edie Waters Network merged with Bob Lucido's team over on the East Coast and in Canada. And when the two of those merged together, it was one of the largest mergers of all of Keller Williams. So it was a big, huge, massive deal.
Yeah.
And boy, I'm just in awe every day in the Zoom calls that I get to listen to Bob Lucido and just everybody that's involved. It's just an amazing accomplishment, and they just keep developing and growing and so cutting edge with the understanding and progression of real estate in the U.S. So, and I get to be a representative here in Wichita for them. And
Yep. You're here from the ground up.
yeah, because I was a big fangirl of Edie up in Kansas City.
Yeah. And I can see why. She's lovely. She is so personable and approachable and
gosh.
normal, and like she doesn't have an ego at all. And I love that.
She needs me to photograph her.
She does.
She does.
Next time
No,
she comes
for
to
real.
Wichita.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I will definitely ask about that.
Yeah, she's a hoot. You guys would laugh a lot.
Yeah. No, she likes to get down and dig in the trenches with you. So she never lost that. And being from Kansas City and seeing her, we've all been big, huge fans of hers. And I kind of wake up and pinch myself that I'm part of a part of that whole entire production. So.
Yeah. It's like, look, Mom, I made it. Like,
I know. It is. It's,
yeah.
it's kind of an attaboy.
I remember when you came into town, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you reached out to me or I reached out to you, but you were brand new into Wichita. And I just was enamored by you. I was enamored by the different way in which you were thinking. I think you were with Tyson Bean's team at that time. And you really wanted this, you had this love and this focus for the urban core. And that wasn't something, I mean, I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of Wichita Realtors, and that was just something I'd never heard before. And it was just neat. We got connected right off the bat. We hit it off. We stayed connected. And now you're just doing these amazing things in our community, which we will get to. But it has been really neat to see your journey thus far. And I think that this is just the beginning, like the hockey stick is getting ready to take off. And I love that. So
Thank you.
with that, how would you describe our market today? Because you've seen other markets and you've been around for several years now. So how would you describe it?
I'll quote my coach,
Okay.
Elizabeth.
I love that.
Sustainable. We're getting back to a sustainable market.
Thank
And
you.
I think that is just one word that pretty much sums it up. Coming from that post crash is when I started in all of this, and I love sustainable markets.
Yes.
I really
Yeah, the
do.
sky is not falling. We just got Stanley Longhoffer's forecast for next year. Yes, interest rates are a little bit high. Nothing to be afraid of. Do not watch the news. There's no such thing as a normal, or a national real estate market. Market is very specific. It's very small, down to a couple of zip codes. or maybe an area code, maybe not, maybe an area code's even too big for, to really understand the trends of what's happening with real estate. And I think that you're right. Some things are starting to stabilize, and we're starting to see some little glimpses of normalcy. We're seeing some of those sun rays come through the clouds. It's not going to be a fat hog market like it was, but interest rates are also, you're renting, you're paying 100% interest rates. So, look at every single credit card you have, you're double or triple the 7% interest rates or 6%. So I love that it's stabilizing. And I love when agents are not buying into the propaganda and they are using the actual data. You cannot argue what Stanley Longhofer does, what he and his team do with the real estate school for the Kansas Association of Realtors. That's essentially who says, I want you to make forecasts for every part in Kansas. We have it really good here. We're going to be fine. And the strong will survive because we will pivot. We will get creative. We will not take our foot off the gas. And they'll come out okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I want all the realtors to not fall prey to believing the national hoopla. Like, Wichita real estate is good. It's strong. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. And I love, I love, one of the reasons that I love this market is that I get to have relationships with my clients that are building on a forever family and friend. And we really get to collaborate together to go through the journey, and we have the time to do it. And I think that's, to me, where it's meant to be.
Yeah, that's the fulfilling part. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just the closing, it's what's happening after that.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I like that. What purchase of $100 or less comes to mind that has really impacted you? Like, what's something you're like, oh, that was so worth it?
I love this question.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I love it. Food.
All right. I like
For real.
You do what I've come to your masterminds, and the food spread you have, you are a foodie at heart. And I know I'll be eating well that day. Any particular restaurant or food? And
I like cooking for other people, and I love for people to be gathered around a table and to sit down and relax. And it's not just sitting down for dinner, but we're going to hang out there for a while, and we're going to talk and discuss and just, kind of commune together over breaking bread. So I think that's the best money spent
if anyone gets a chance to go to Ivy's house,
seriously,
do it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you can to get to Ivy's house, because you can tell you pour your love out for people through your food, and sitting around that table is amazing.
Well, I think that the realtors deserve to be made to feel special and have some effort and energy put towards them. And so that was really important to me to hey, sit down and breathe for an hour and eat some good food and talk, and because they deserve it. They're pulled in a million different directions all the time. Yeah. So
I love that.
It's my way of pampering.
And you do it very well. You and Turner are very hospitable hosts. Kelly, question goes to you. What purchase of $100 or less has been impactful?
This is going to sound stupid, but the very first thing that I thought of was this little leather hobo bag that I bought at Von Maur.
Not at all. No.
It was originally $175, and I think I got it for $60. I couldn't afford it at the time.
Yes.
It's like a crossbody, but I use it as a concert bag, and it has come in handy so much because my husband and I go to concerts. We like to go experience things. And I'm never bogged down by, oh crap, I have this giant purse and now I have to go put it in the car. I have to go blah, blah, blah. We go to basketball games, we go to concerts, we go to baseball games for Wichita, and just it has become a little staple, and I get compliments on it all the time. It's this little leather fold over purse. It fits in my console perfectly.
Yeah.
It's just... It has become one of the most useful, and I've had it, I think, 12 years.
Yeah,
probably.
But it's leather, so it's gonna last forever.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I was I can't really afford this, but I'm gonna buy it because it's such a good deal and it's going to last, and it's a nice product. And my mom always told me, don't buy a lot of stuff, buy good stuff and keep it for a long time. And so that's kind of what I try to do, and.
That's good. I think all of us have some of those little gems in our closets that.
What's in the bag, Kelly?
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you put in there? Can it fit a beer? No, I'm kidding.
If I need it to, it can.
Let's see. Kelly, what is one thing that you would like our Wichita realtors to know about you or your business?
I am a graphic designer also. So I can make promotional pieces. I can do layouts for Facebook banners. I can design business cards and flyers, and my scope of products is a little bit different because I'm a photographer also. So there's like photo books that I can make easily and stuff like that. I'm not just a one-trick pony. If you're looking for closing gifts, I can do paintings, I can do drawings, I can do pet portraiture, like all this stuff. Like, I'm very multifaceted, and I don't get to exercise that a lot, and I don't know that a lot of people know that about me.
Yeah. No, I didn't even know all of those things about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say like a paintings, like a portrait of like the new house or like the house that they were in for 50 years as a gift, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or just large wall art if they're like, I want to give them something to put in this weird spot over the mantle where there's a niche and it's a weird size for a TV or whatever.
Okay. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for
Custom
sharing.
custom art.
Okay. Do either of you have any favorite books? Anything like in the self-development lane, anything that has made a difference for you? I think a lot of people are probably of the growth mindset and know that they need to continue growing and learning and expanding, but anything, any books, anything you've read, podcasts you've come across that you think our listeners would appreciate?
I've got like a Roman scroll of stuff. So my iPad is constantly going all day while I'm sitting at my computer or in the car or whatever. But right now I'm a little late on it, but Atomic Habits.
Okay. Yeah.
I really like digging into the psychology of our own self-motivation and what have you. So that's
those little
been a
tiny
good one.
things.
Yeah.
Yep. If you floss every night,
right,
eventually it will pay off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep my teeth.
Yes, that's an atomic habit I'm trying to instill. Okay, I like that. I know that I could always assume what this answer would be, but sometimes people surprise me. So this question goes to both of you. If you had a gigantic billboard in Wichita, what would it say and why?
I know my answer.
Okay, let's hear it.
It would say, find the good light and get in it.
There, I like it.
Because it's a photography thing, but it's also just like a life thing for me. And it's one of my hashtags that I put on my pictures sometimes. Like,
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's about perspective. It's about mindset. You know, you can look at something in two different ways, catastrophe or an opportunity.
Well, and if you're in a room full of people and there's people standing in the shadows and there's people standing by the window, you're probably going to talk to the people by the window because you can see their faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just more, I don't know, it's like more inviting than I don't know.
See, I like that.
Metaphorical.
I like it. Multifaceted. Miss Ivy, what would you say?
To the nth degree.
Okay. And why? What's the meaning behind that?
I think, I'm a big researcher. So when I'm working, I will go to the nth degree to find the solution. So that pretty much sums me up.
Yeah, I like it. See if Edie Waters, if their marketing team can incorporate that for you.
Right.
Yeah. Ivy to the nth degree. All right, ladies, we are going to end with a fun little speed round. So these questions apply to both of you. So would you rather be able to go back in time or tell the future?
Go back in time.
Why is that, Kelly?
Ivy's leading this now.
I'm slightly obsessed with fashion, and I want to go back and see and feel the textiles and the fashion and see people moving around in the clothing and the sets and,
the quality.
Look at what it was like. And the future's scary.
I think all of us are kind of some clothes horses. And so the lesson here is don't throw anything away. Get better at organization and storage.
Yeah.
So that we have the original things 10 or 15 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your answer?
The future.
Okay.
I think with these Gen Z kids, I love how a lot of them are thinking in that kind of work-life balance, what's priority, what isn't. And I want to see what they do with all of this.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Would you rather live in a new build or 100-year-old home?
100-year-old home.
But you're in a new build.
I know.
Ivy?
I love the history and stories with the old homes, and I'm the one living in an older home.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But there's a part of me after studying architecture that I love I love the minimalist side of modern. So I'm caught
That's
in
tough.
between.
If you go far back enough, it's pretty minimalist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Back enough. That's funny. Would you rather have all conversations from this point forward via text or speaking over the phone? Meaning you could only choose one.
I think speaking over the phone.
Yeah.
It's hard to make a phone call these days, but once you do, it's
know.
just like, okay, I heard their voice. I kind of get a sense for the type of person they are, how direct they're being. Like in a
Yes,
text message,
the
everything can be
intonations.
misconstrued so easily. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and typos are so embarrassing.
Right?
Yes. When
That's
we're
the
going so
English
fast.
nerd in me. I'm like, oh,
Well, I'm a talker, so
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dogs or cats?
dogs.
more of them.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yes.
All the
Yeah.
dogs.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
I almost, when I was going through that, I was like, dogs that have their own cats. Because we have a cat and I don't like him most of the time, but I do love him.
Yes. Yes. Cats can be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, did you ever think of what your absurd habit was?
I did.
Do you want to share it?
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
I smell books and printed materials often.
Okay.
When I was growing up,
That's weird.
and we would get tests or something that were like fresh off the Xerox.
Yes.
They smelled like watermelon to me. And like every printed material has a different smell to it,
Yes.
depending on what ink and what paper combination it is. So
Okay.
like if I get an old book, I order books off of thrift books a lot because I can't stand e-readers and I like
Yeah.
to
the
smell
paper.
books.
Yes.
And so every time I get a new book, I open
Sniffing.
it and I go whoosh, and I like fan the pages and I'm
Yes.
like, oh, it smells so
So wait, when your Real Producers magazine arrives in the mail, do you smell it?
Yep.
Okay.
Every
What does
single
it smell
time.
like?
Just ink and paper and
Okay.
you know, like when things go through the mail, they take on a certain smell.
Yes. Which could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very
That
risky.
anthrax scare
Yes.
was a little
That's a
dodgy
little-
last year, a
Is
few
that-
years ago.
Powder. Okay, that is absurd and
yeah.
interesting, and it doesn't
I do
actually
it at
surprise me.
bookstores and I do it when I get postcards, if I buy them from the workroom or whatever. Because
Okay.
I am a snail mailer, so I send
Okay.
snail mail just
I love
randomly to friends and stuff. It's my hobby.
Yes.
That's what I do outside of
Yes.
photography. But yeah, and my daughter has started doing it too.
Oh,
She'll
that's
get new books in the mail and
funny.
she's like, Mom, smell this one. So
Oh my God. What does Josh do? Does he just roll his eyes?
he,
He's like, there's my little mini creative there too.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Glad I thought of it. I was like, I know
I am too. I don't know. The next time I smell a book, I'll text you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I just adore both of you, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to sit here with us and help contribute to the podcast. So thank you. And that's a wrap.
Cool.
Thank you for letting us chat.
Yeah.
You bet. All right. Bye, girls.
Cheers.